Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards here for Pour Some Stamps today, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm creating this lovely little spring scene birthday shaker card today. So I have a bunch of images from the Tweet Birdie stamp set. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them at this point, but I had coloured and cut them out, and then I decided to make a shaker card. So I have this scalloped frame and then a circle piece which will go on the back of that, and another circle cut from some acetate. Now I'm pulling out all the cloud stencil, and I'm going to be using that to create a cloudy background stencil or background for my little shaker. So I'm just using some repositionable tape there, and I'm going to use this lovely light kind of bluish aqua kind of colour for my clouds in the sky. So I'm just going quite light-handed here. I want this to be a lovely soft kind of card, a lovely soft pastel-y spring colours, and so I don't want to be too heavy-handed, but this is a really beautiful colour anyway. It's quite a light shade of ink. So just going over my stencil there and rotating it around as I move it down at the little circle piece that I've got here, and just using my ink blending brush, which is actually a makeup brush, but it works just fine, just to add some colour. When I get to the bottom there, I'm just going to add a little bit of ink to the bottom so that it doesn't look stark white in comparison to everything else. So once that is done, I'm going to take some liquid glue here and just go all the way around the edge of my frame piece, and then I'm going to attach my acetate down on top of that. Now, I should have thought about this a little bit more carefully, because I actually wanted my branch to kind of peek in from behind the frame, and I didn't really think about it, but it was okay. I managed to kind of squeeze it in the back of my frame before the glue dried too much. But I'm just cleaning up the edges here because a little bit of that glue seeped out. Once I've done that, I kind of get to this point, I realize, oh, I didn't put that branch in. So I'm going to do that now, and luckily I did manage to kind of flick it through the back of the frame before the glue had dried down completely, and it was okay. So now I'm going to, sorry, I'm a little bit off camera here, but I'm just using some liquid glue to attach that down where I want it. Once that is done, I will start assembling all my other little images and deciding where they're going to go. So the branch is kind of like the main focal piece, if you like, the main part of my image, and then my little accessory pieces. So I've got the little nest there. I've got the two little birds that are going to sit on the branch on either side of the little nest. I had thought about putting one of the birdhouses in. I couldn't decide what to do. Had a little bit of empty space there. So I think I'm going to put that little bird there, then I pull it out, try the birdhouse, decide that I'm not really happy with the birdhouse, pull that one out again, and then bring that flying bird back in again. So just end up using the three birds and the little bird's nest there. So once I'm happy with the placement of everything, I will go ahead and glue it down with my liquid glue. I just spent a long time fiddling and trying to decide where everything's going to go. Finally happy, so I'll use that glue there to attach everything down on top. Just have to be a little bit careful when using liquid glue on acetate, because it can smear a little bit and it can make a little bit of a mess. It's fine if you're not too heavy-handed with it. It's okay, but yeah, just something to be aware of, because it can get a little bit smeary if it gets in the wrong place on the acetate. But once I was happy, had everything down, I went ahead and added some foam tape all the way around the back of this frame piece, which is going to be the well for my shaker. So once I'd done that, I'm using my powder tool to go all the way around the edge of that foam tape. This is before I've removed that backing paper, just to make sure that my little sequins don't get stuck in the sticky edges of that foam tape. So I have two sequin mixes here, both from Pour Some Stamps. This one, the greenish one, is Sparkling Mint, and the silvery coloured one is Silver Tinsel. And I just thought it was a really pretty mix and looked really, really nice and soft and worked well with the colours that I've used. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all that backing paper from my foam tape. And once that is done, I'm going to carefully attach the back piece, my ink blended panel, onto the back of my shaker. So I'm going to make sure I've got that centered nicely, press it down, and that is my shaker part completed. So I hadn't really decided much further than this, but I pulled out a piece of this lovely soft grey cardstock, and I thought it worked really beautifully with the colours that I've used and kind of made the shaker element pop a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my shaker down onto that grey card base that I've cut, and I'm just going to make sure I try and get it nice and centered there. And now all that's left is a sentiment. So I have a bit of space at the bottom there, and I have the sentiment that reads tweet birthday wishes. And I'm just going to use some foam squares to attach that down. Now it's not quite as high as the foam tape that I've used on the shaker, but it just gives it a little bit of dimension. And that is my card complete. It's nice and quick and easy today, but very, very sweet. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. And please do subscribe to the Pawsome Stamps channel. We'd love to see you come back again. Thank you so much for joining me.